And hello, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of 3 Live Canes. As always, I am Chris. The box that denotes that is right there. This box denotes that being Billy, another guy here to join you for a 3 Live Canes presentation of Miami Hurricanes Transfer Portal Breakdown, episode 2 of, 50 or whatever up until the season starts next year. Because that's really where we are. We were riding the wave of the portal in a positive way in some cases early this week, even today. And then a little bit of negative news happens. And then so we're kind of flipping back to the other side. So we'll go through all of that. We have a lot of things to talk about with Steve will be joining us hopefully soon. Before we do all that stuff, all the formalities, Bill, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's up and down. Portal season is, crazy, especially with this timeline, moving up. So, some good, some bad. A lot of questions still to be answered, but, they will be answered probably in the next, week or so.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The questions are coming just as quickly as the answers are hopefully going to be able to find their way through. Right now, the biggest question obviously lies at quarterback. What's going to go on with that? Obviously, Mateer, the news that John Mateer headed over to Oklahoma. At least right now, you never know. We've heard crazier things about Cam Ward too, and those things change. But that news, but obviously Miami gets a couple players in the portal. Miami loses some players in the portal. The portal taketh and the portal giveth. So we'll see how it continues on. But we'll talk about all that kind of stuff, how things are shaking out, what's next for Miami with obviously some guys making their visits soon or already on campus. So a lot of good stuff that could happen up in the near future. Thank you guys for joining us here on a Wednesday night. Talk some portal and some Pop-Tart Bowl probably at the end here on 3 Live Canes.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Irvin's got it. Irvin's free.
Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, and he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big game.
Hard dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Devin Hester up to the races. That's what they needed.
That's Ricks going up for Thorpe, and it's intercepted near midfield. Sean Taylor's got another one.
Who else?
With Sean, who else but us here on a Wednesday night to talk about Miami Hurricanes football. Just you kind of get lost in the if you hit up the transfer portal 24/7 page with all the rankings and everything, you start to kind of like find your way through it and see all the little things. It's easy to kind of get caught up in this guy went here, then this guy left, and that guy went to this other place and so on. I was just on LSU because I was looking at the what happened with LSU because obviously CJ Daniels, a dude who went from Liberty to LSU last year in the portal, and now he's going to join us this year. So I was like, oh, man, it's rough. They're losing their receivers. And I saw LSU pulled in 2 receivers that are on the higher end of the portal rankings. So it's like in and out, and eventually it'll find its way to make things even in some way for the teams as they can put that money out there for NAL and all that. But obviously the big news happened just recently, maybe an hour or so ago, and that is the arrival of Steve-O, the biggest news. Yeah, we're live, Steve-O. Come on. I know we're doing
all right,
this.
baby. I'll call you back.
Bye.
I thought I was going to jump in there. We were still, my bad. Wiped up.
It's like 190 people in here, Steve-O, or somewhere that's a little bit less. But still, had to get it going for the people. I hope I didn't cut your conversation off short, Steve. I apologize.
Nah, it's good. She's the one low-key who reminded me. She's like, don't you got a show today, man? I'm like, and then I got that text from you. I was like, it's been a long week. Just got back from DC. Was at the Army Navy game. It's been a long week for me. It's gonna be a longer week for Hurricanes fans.
I feel like it sounds like a bad thing, Steve. wish it were a good. Usually you come in and bringing sunshine and rainbows, Steve.
Oh no, it's sunshine and rainbows, man. I'm vibing.
Oh, it's a long week in a good way.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long week. In a good way. I mean,
all right.
I told people, in the Canes group chats on Twitter, I was like, hey man, because everybody wants to know about the quarterback. I told you, I was like, yo, he going to Oklahoma, his OC there, blah blah blah, this that. Quarterback coach. I mean, come on, bro. That's probably the 2 closest people to him on this planet outside his parents. So yeah, that's going. But I told him, I was like, yo, DB. And receiver, though, there's going to be some things going on there. And obviously, back-to-back days has popped. And I have no doubt in my mind that, we're not done with this portal stuff. And plenty, names to be entered. Playoff teams, obviously are going to have people exit. And they have more time, as everybody knows, after last year. Like, all these guys hitting the portal from Alabama. Like, yeah, the guy retired and they just made the playoffs. So yeah. So yeah, we'll wait on that. Nice times. But
just
yeah.
to hit on the material stuff, because I know a lot of people in the chat were talking about it early on, and all these different things. Let's just say, like with Mateer, the decision to go to Oklahoma, just fundamentally, I understand the quarterback coach OC is heading over there, but you have to question it on some levels about the decision you make when you're going to a ship that, largely is sinking. A lot of people trying to get off. Venables seemingly on as close to a chopping block as you can get for a guy who has a storied career as a coach, but usually is on the defensive side of the ball. When I saw Oklahoma versus us, I mean, like everything pointed to us as far as like actual good decision making, but has the relationship. So does it concern you at all, Steve-O? Like I know there's quarterbacks, it could be guys that jump in. Obviously the Cam Ward stuff was way later at this point. We were all hyping the Poff as a starting quarterback for the 2024 Hurricanes, but are you concerned at all about quarterback for next year?
There's two ways I feel about quarterback, right? I think we have a high floor quarterback with Emory Williams. I think he's the guy that can you want to get JoJo the ball on time, let him make plays after the catch. You want to, whoever weapon we bring in, we already just brought in another one in Daniels. Is he going to get the ball out on time? Is it going to be accurate? I think so. Is he going to make those plays that Cam Ward made? I mean, did anybody else other than Cam Ward make those plays? So, I mean, you have to lower the expectation with that. But there's also was a lot of examples where there was plays left out there on the field that Cam Ward didn't take because he was looking for some bigger plays. So when you balance that out with the guy who's going to make that play more often than not, you would be surprised how efficient the offense can remain. Is it going to have maybe like the greatest show on turf element from the quarterback position? Maybe not. But that's why you bring in these guys, to come in here and catch the football and make plays for them. I mean, everybody loves to say Ken Dorsey, but literally that's just a perfect example of, hey, I'm going to come in here and I know if it's one-on-one, I'm throwing the ball to Andre. Like, it's that simple. Like, it's one-on-one. I got a safety on Santana. I know where I'm going with the ball.
Yep.
That type of stuff keeps you ahead of the chains. And then with the running game that we should be having and continuing to build upon, I feel like we really do need to go get a quarterback in the transfer portal just because we need some starting experience. Emory 1 and 2 as a starter did not finish one of those games, so I don't hold it against him. So when I look at Emory, I think, hey, we beat Clemson with them. We haven't beat Clemson with a lot of good quarterbacks. Rozier, 2017 broke a record. Here we couldn't beat him. De'Aaron King, one of the more exciting quarterbacks you've ever seen in a Miami Hurricane uniform outside of Cam Ward this past season. You've never even seen somebody making plays at quarterback like that, with his legs at least. So, I mean, I get it, but I mean, I want somebody with experience to start to compete with Emory. If it's not like a slam dunk guy, like if Ewers that leaves, Texas or something like that, like a slam dunk type of guy, I would like it for it to be an open competition with Emory. Fernando Mendoza is one of those things going to Indiana, but one of those type of guys, somebody who just come in and just you have to compete with Emory. Mm-hmm. I think his third year in the program now. He deserves a chance to compete for that job, and if he loses it, he loses it, but he deserves the chance to compete for it. So I definitely think, I mean, I can't speak for SFE, but I get it. Jay Wimbro's over there. Cool dude. He loves to get y'all riled up, but SFE is okay with Miami, bro. I think that'll be fine. I like Aaron Nolan out of high school. There was a raw player that went over there, and I think that's why he's in the portal. But I think you could swing on a guy like Aaron Nolan for sure. But if you do, like, you're gonna have a guy you just transferred in with no starting experience. Emory, very limited starting experience, 2 games, and then a true freshman and Luke Nickel, and then a redshirt freshman and Judd Anderson. So you would have 4 quarterbacks on your roster with the combined start of 2. I don't think we go into that like the year in that. If we bring in a guy with some starts and he gets beat out in camp, he get beat out in camp. You know, you got spring, you got fall camp. You know, if you get beat out, you get beat out. Ain't nothing you can do. I mean, maybe transfer for spring, but you know, I think we do need to bring in somebody with some starting experience. I love the Air Nolans, like you would, but I mean, from what I hear, they're really excited about Judd. They're building him up. When you see Judd in person, Canes family, I tell you, it's a totally different thing. If you just hear his name online or got talk to him online, you're like, man, Judd, whatever. He's a developmental guy. But when you see him in person, you're like, yo, who is that? Like, yo, he looks the part. He really does look the part. So I think he's a guy that could probably, you know, go after that starting role next year out of nowhere. You know, like a Stephen Morris guy, just come in 3rd year in the program, take over for 2 years.
Yeah.
So don't discount that. But for this immediate year, you might need to get somebody with some starting experience.
Bill, thoughts on where we are right now?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with Steve. We definitely need someone to come in, you know, with starting experience to, you know, at least compete. I don't know if at this point, right, you know, Mateer was the big name. There's really not any names that would make you say like, wow, we need to absolutely get this guy. You know, a guy like Aaron Noland, you know, you have some young quarterbacks already. You know, is that really, you know, worth it, or can that, you know, money essentially be allocated somewhere else, like quarterback or, you know, D and D tackle? So Mateer is a big loss. I don't think there's really, you know, any other way to say it, but, you know, if Emory's the guy, it's just kind of hard to sit here and say, you know, with 100% confidence, because you haven't necessarily seen it. It would have been great to, you know, get him, you know, more reps and, you know, more experience, you know, this year. But, you know, unfortunately we were in, you know, dog fights, and, you know, Cam had to be out there. The few games that weren't, you know, Poffenbarger got in just to hand the ball off, kill the clock essentially. But, you know, you'd like to get back to the point where, you know, your backups are getting reps where you can actually see them in, you know, live game situations, so that you can kind of make these judgments. But again, you know, coaches, you know, see them in practice. If, you know, they're okay with just, you know, riding with Emory, you know, and, you know, maybe like a veteran type, then, you know, so be it. But, you know, you got to surround that with talent, right? You brought in CJ Daniels, good step, you know, lost Horton, not so good. But I think a lot of the focus, right, probably going forward is the defense, cornerback, you know, potentially another safety, you know, and then D-line as well.
Yeah, and the only interesting thing that I saw came up as far as, you know, guys who aren't in there, and just it's one of those things, like, fans can throw it out, talk about it as crazy as it might seem. A few people mentioned Quinn Ewers, like the possibility of he entering the portal. I'm entering the portal after the playoffs are done, or when Texas is done. That's always going to be a thing with the Arch Manning factor of Arch, you know, and Quinn having, you know, up and down situation at Texas, kind of especially this season. How would he fit in? Like, I know obviously he's a name, everyone's going to go after him. He'd automatically become the top name of anybody that's been in the portal and will be in the portal this year. Bill, would that be a name that makes you say, okay, we got to do whatever we can, throw whatever number the money or amount of money we have at him?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big time quarterback. You know, is it, you know, Cam Ward? No. Does he have flaws? Yeah. But kind of a unique situation going on over there. You know, does Texas have more talent than us? You know, probably. But again, a lot of portal left, and if you can, you know, kind of surround him with kind of more talent, I guess. But again, that's going to be later on, and a lot of those big pieces are probably going to be off the board by then. You know, similar to what we went through with Cam. You know, if you're going to get a quarterback, it's beneficial to do it early. Because that does have the impact of, especially guys that, you know, only have 1 year and they're looking to go to the pros. So, yeah, you would absolutely go get, if he's the best player, and, you know, then yeah, you do it, right?
Steve-O, any thoughts on possibility of yours?
I don't like to speculate on quarterbacks that have yet to hit the portal yet, but it do seem like the writing's on the wall. You know, they took him out of multiple games now to put Arch Manning in, and he did provide a spark. Do I think I like one of the quarterbacks in the chat that he just said, I don't think he comes here, but I don't know, bro. I get like a weird feeling when it comes to Ewers, bro. Like, are you the golden boy or are you like gold plated? I mean, to me, he looked gold plated. At least this year. Last year, I ain't gonna lie, he looked good. He was taking down Bama until he got injured. I mean, last year he looked a lot better than this year. I'm just keeping a buck. Is that the pressure of everybody there trying to get Arch Manning in there, knowing any mistake you make, people are gonna bring up Arch Manning. But can that be more pressure than playing in a college football playoff or national championship game? I don't think so. So how do you handle that pressure if something like the noise of Arch Manning gets to you? Which I get it though, bro. It's not just your regular. We throw out quarterbacks who are young quarterbacks, like, oh, put him in and stuff. Imagine if you're at Texas and you're spending like $30 million on this kid. Like, of course you're gonna like, and he's the nephew of like Eli and Peyton. Like, I mean, duh. Like grandson of Archie, like bro, like that amount of noise, I'm not going to downplay it. I'm not, but you could tell it's definitely gotten to him because last year he was way better. So as of right now, it was like I think he more gold plated. Do I think he could be effective in the system? Yeah, of course, bro. I mean, not to say Shannon Dawson runs a similar system to Steve Sarkisian, but low key, yeah, the tempo, the route concepts are kind of in that range. Ewers can make those wide throws. He can also make very quick, accurate intermediate throws over the middle. Is where Coach Dawson likes to make a lot of money at. You saw that with Xavier Restrepo. You see it with George. A lot of people run a lot of in-breaking routes, clearing out, stuff like that. But I'm as of right now, like I'm not like, oh my God, we need Ewers as the heir apparent to Cam Ward. Like, I just don't feel that way. I can't sit here and lie to you and tell you guys that I feel like he could be the answer. I just don't see it. Do I think he could be the starting quarterback and bridge it till Luke Nickel or Emory or Judd is ready? Yeah, he could definitely do that. But is he the guy? I can't, dog. I can't say it. I really can't. I'd have to force it out of my mouth and it wouldn't sound right. Like, yeah, Quinn Ewers is the guy. I don't know, bro. I don't know if he's the guy. I really don't.
Okay, fair enough. And so that quarterback question is going to take some while. Other people throwing out different names. I know.
El Rico just dropped the bomb. That's what I want.
Where you at, El Rico?
Oh, I just saw it.
Right? That's what we got.
Oh, that one? That would be something. That would be something. I don't know. That would go. Couple other, I know some other names, but we'll see. As time goes on here, I think more people will, the portal's going to be full. Right now, we're like 65%. I think once these playoff games get played and teams start getting knocked out, I think a lot more is going to happen there. We'll see how it goes. Just like getting Kyle McCord treatment from last year's portal talk. A little bit, but we'll see. But on the positive side of things, Miami did pull in a couple players, as you guys both referenced, and two pretty significant positions of need, especially one that became more significant when Isaiah Horton decided to enter the portal. Relatively surprising, I think. Like when Horton made the move, I don't think anyone anticipated him leaving. He'd probably come back as the number one returning guy that's played significant snaps, but he decided to make the change. For me, it really does. And I saw someone make a comment. I don't know if it was on CanesInSight or it's on Twitter or whatever, that it feels a lot like the Colby Young thing, where big physical dude made plays for us. All of a sudden, it was like really clicking, and then another school was like, actually, we could use a guy like that, and then just got in his ear, made the move, whatever. And Steve, I know you've been a big Isaiah Horton guy since literally the moment he signed, put his name on paper, had the U on it. What are your thoughts on Horton leaving now when it looked like it was just about to be, Horton's season at the U?
I really don't know if he's leaving. He signed the necessary paperwork. Is he in the portal? Can we check?
He's officially
in the portal.
Yeah. He's getting predictions to Bama.
Yeah, I would definitely give. I definitely get it, but I would hope he's the guy that we bring back. Because the thing about it, if we're going after guys like Singleton, trying to pay them number one receiver money, trying to do all that. I mean, if I'm Horton, just being real, I feel like I deserve that or some more. I don't like to say stuff like that, but we paid Sam Brown more than him, and we paid this guy to come in here and me to put him on the bench. You guys were forcing him down our throat for half the season when it was clear that I was better, or at least playing better. I don't like to talk like that, but come on, bro. Like, it's business at this point. Like, yo, I better at least get that. So, I mean, is that what's happening? I hope that's what's happening. A little bit of bargaining. I would definitely think no matter what, even with I like Daniels. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I thought most of his plays were at Liberty. He scored 0 touchdowns at LSU last year. Not trying to say that was all his fault. Had some injuries. You can't just look at a stat and say, hey, this is the story on this guy, right? Yeah. Had some really explosive and really good tape at Liberty. Really did. But Horton is on an upward trajectory. He has not peaked yet.
Yeah.
He has not peaked yet. He is a bona fide NFL receiver that's getting better as the seasons go. So for him to go, it won't be a Kobe Young situation because Kobe Young is nowhere near as a complete receiver as Isaiah Horton is. It's just a straight fact. And I like Kobe Young. Got into trouble at Georgia. Not gonna speak on that. Is what it is. Wish him the best. Hopefully, whatever it is isn't true because it's some nasty stuff. But like that is totally different. Isaiah Horton, if you're looking to go pay a number one receiver, we need this guy. We need this guy. I mean, I'm looking at within already. Like, I think number 2 has proven every time that he is getting that, he has been given that opportunity, he has cashed in. So I would hope that's one of those rescinds their name from a portal, and we can all just talk on the CanesInSight board and be like, hey, yeah, we paid him, we dropped that bag on him, whatever the case may be. I just hope that's the situation. I would hate for him to go to Alabama. I would hate for him to go to Tennessee. I would hate for him to go anywhere because he's going big. He goes anywhere, he's going big.
Yeah.
So that's just the type of talent he is. And that's my thoughts on it. Hopefully that they get that, rectified. But I'm just saying, bro, like, come on, bro. Y'all paying somebody. I mean, I don't know how much we paying JoJo. I don't know how much we paying these big star freshmen. Like, yo, what if they was making more than him, bro? What would y'all feel like? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not too in speculation. I really don't know how much JoJo's getting paid. I would hope it's market value. I mean, obviously it's market value. But
Steve, if you had to guess though, like JoJo's getting paid more than Horton, right? Like you had to guess.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to check people's pockets and all, but just like if we're talking like strategically, like if you're the staff and you're trying to get JoJo to be a Miami Hurricane, like as a recruit, you got to put money up that you probably didn't have to put up for Horton when he was a recruit, or like even
and it's also because the landscape is. Remember when we had the NIL came out right when Horton was a freshman and stuff, so it wasn't like how it is now. I mean, De'Aaron King was doing freaking hot dog NIL deals, not getting freaking fit. Imagine if De'Aaron King was in the portal right now. You know how much money he would have made?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's a total different animal. I just think the market has blown up way more. Horton was a blue chipper, bro. Like he was a 4-star recruit on every site. He's a top 300 kid on every site. So he's a blue chipper. The rate has gone extremely through the roof. And so does that mean he's a guy like JoJo when you're battling Ohio State and Florida State? Does that mean, you got to make sure he lands and, all the other connections as well that came with that with Rod Mack and them boys? So does that mean it? I personally think, it's got to be higher than it was 2022. It got to be just because the market prices went up.
Right.
So now if he's trying to renegotiate or refinance on his investment, I mean, that's his right to do so. Hopefully that's what it is. And there's nothing like I would think he loves KB from what I heard. So I don't think there's any ill blood with the staff. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's happy with Coach Shannon Dawson. He got on the ball a lot. I mean, he had the second most receptions on the team. So, I mean, I would think that this is more of a, I need to be where I need to be at, financially. And if that meets, I would love to have Horton back because, I mean, I would rather him than any other receiver in the portal.
Bill, do you feel optimistic about the chance that Horton could come back, or what are your thoughts on it?
I feel like if he would have come back, it probably would have been worked out by now. But again, you never know. Do I want him back? Absolutely, because like Steve said, you see the trajectory, right? He's an NFL guy. You brought in CJ Daniels. You do have JoJo Trader, 5-star wide receiver. He 5-star wide receiver. He needs to be ready to play a significant role in year 2, on the outside. And then, you have a guy like Casey Concepcion on campus right now. You have another, top recruit from last year in Nye Carr. You got to be able to develop, the guys that you have, at certain positions. You can't rely on the portal for every position year in and year out. So, trading Horton for Daniels, if you want to have that debate, you can. I'm sure you can probably make a case one way or the other for each guy. But I think when push comes to shove, it's going to come down to a guy like JoJo Trader. Can he step up and, give us 5-star production? Because if we're not developing our own guys, we're just going to keep spinning our wheels, year in and year out.
That's the idea. Like, you can't, like, it's a great point. You can't get every single position in the portal. So which ones you have to spend your money and time on? And obviously receiver is one where we lost a lot. Like, you can't replace a Restrepo. You just can't. He's just a guy that you have to kind of work around it. Then you hope that a guy like JoJo can make such a jump that it offsets some of it. And then you have your guys that you trust, and like a Horton or someone like that. And, obviously you can pull a big name. CJ Daniels is a guy that I think probably the hype for him would have been, and you kind of referenced it, Steve, would have been higher if it was last year when he chose Miami. If I remember correctly, we were up there amongst his finalists.
They say we finished second, yeah.
So if he went to LSU and it was also us and he decided to make the move, and it's still the same dude we saw at Liberty, where honestly playing with Caden Salter, like a guy that who knows what his deal is, but opportunity was significant while he was there, and he was their guy, and obviously he put up big numbers, and LSU just didn't really work out. But also LSU, I'm not even sure what their plan was with their receiver room last year, because it looks like they entirely flipped the whole room itself anyway. So opportunity will be here. Is he what Horton was? We'll have to see. We'll have to see if he's still that guy that we saw at Liberty. But Bill, I didn't get your thoughts on Daniels. I know Steve-O was solid. It could be a guy that contributes, but we'll see. Bill, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's healthy, he can be legit, number 1 type guy. But again, that's the question: is he healthy, or he struggled with some injuries at LSU? The production wasn't quite there, compared to Liberty, but you've seen him do it before, so bring size. So again, it's more about the health, and then kind of what else, who's throwing on the ball. We already talked about that. But can he be a number 1? I think so. But again, if Horton comes back, right, I think that would be a pretty good little kind of competition to see who is that guy, or maybe it is a wide receiver by committee. With X not being here to eat up kind of the bulk of the catches. But I'm kind of interested to see if we can land a Concepcion. You put him in the slot, then that kind of changes the dynamic of the whole team, because you have to account for that type of speed as well. So still a lot to be decided. It's kind of the speculation phase, I guess. But
I'd rather grab it, like what Bill said, a Concepcion in the slot. That would be who I would put my money towards, outside of keeping Horton. Like, I'm not throwing $1 million at Singleton. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I think that is keep Horton and put KC to battle Ray in the slot. I mean, in my opinion, I think the number 1 receiver in Coach Shannon's offense since literally West Virginia days has been the slot receiver. I mean, let's be real. That's how you create your matchups.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell, Xavier Restrepo, Tavon Austin. I mean, these are the guys that in these systems just continue to make plays, and that's what I would say. Don't throw $1 million at somebody you don't know. Bring Horton in. He's proven he could be a number 1 type of guy if you go into him. Big game after big game when we went to him, he delivered. You get KC in the slot, well, I think it's just how Coach Dawson's offense works. It's just a lot easier to get the matchups you want when you can play with safeties, linebackers, and nickels. And there's so much rubbing you can do. You're an outside guy. No one's rubbing your guy for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to win that matchup one-on-one on the outside. So it's very simple. I think those are the 2 that we need to throw money at. You already got Daniels, so that's a good. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. So Horton doesn't come back, you don't lose that size. But that's what I would do. Obviously everybody in this chat is a fan of KC. We've seen him since his freshman year. But yeah, I'm vibing. I think a receiver, that's what I would do with my money. Keep Horton. Somebody mentioned in the chat. I mean, Horton signed with us as a blue chip recruit, redshirted his freshman year, played a little bit sparingly as a sophomore, showed the flashes, and then redshirt sophomore took a role where, it became a point where it's just, you can't keep playing a certain player over him. Then you saw number 2 out there, and then it really became the best group with Jacoby, X, and Horton. So I think that says something a lot, when you start at that and just continue to ascend, and you gave the coaches no choice but to play you, but to start you.
Yeah.
You have to keep that. Now, Horton's like 6'4", bro. He is tall. At least 6'3" and like 7'8". Like, Horton is tall. I've seen him in person now.
Tape measure out.
Yeah, he's tall, bro. Because Jacoby's 6'1", 6 flat, and Horton's tall.
Some things in here too. I know Cam Ward
Oh,
for
he said
Heisman.
Daniels is 6'2". Oh, maybe Daniels is 6'2". I might have said 6'4". I'm not even that sure. I'm not that high on him, but I hope he proves me wrong.
Cam Ward for Heisman really hurt with the loss of his guy. Talking about have to go get like a quarterback. But I don't think it's fair. Like the other day, there was a lot of stuff popping up. Horton jumped in the portal because he knew that Mateer wasn't coming here, blah, 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 that stuff. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't think it necessarily even has anything to do with Emory or like the quarterback situation. I mean, it's really hard these days to evaluate that as being a part of the process when money is involved. Like the last thing I think when a kid hits the portal, unless he's like clearly a backup and doesn't play at all, is it's exclusively because of his position on the team. Guy could hit the portal for a million reasons, and sometimes it's 1.5 million reasons or whatever. So worry more about like what the situation is around it than the quarterback room. Though obviously in general the quarterback room is a question. Like, see, look, Tech doesn't even have a quarterback, so then obviously it doesn't have to do with the quarterback position, right? It's money, it's opportunities in another regard. So I wouldn't worry about equating those things automatically. Whatever quarterback's going to be, it sounds like something we have to figure out soon, but not right now because a lot of other conversations are happening. Like Casey Concepcion, he's asking about the quarterback, but at the same time, they're pushing and pitching him the offense in a way like, look, we're going to get you the ball X amount of times, no matter who's playing quarterback. Because some of those quarterbacks for Shannon Dawson were not elite guys, and he was still getting that ball to the slot receiver. So
yeah, Clayton Tune. I mean, not an elite guy, like in the sense of the word of Cam, Cam Ward. I mean, that's why, in my opinion, you have a high floor quarterback like Emory, a guy like you could tell you, hey, he's gonna get you the ball. It's 1,000, 2,000, 3. That ball is gonna be right here. What are you gonna do with it? That's what I'm telling wide receivers. What are you going to do with it? Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe we're going to bring in a transfer quarterback. Does he start? Does he compete with Emory? How does that go? I hope it's a competition. I don't like handing people the job. There was only, obviously, a Cam Ward was that type of situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Adair King was that type of situation. I felt terrible when Nkosi just got brought in the guy over him. And I was saying, Derek only played, 4 games. He was hurt, baby. Nkosi could, and then it was like, oh, nah, he's starting immediately. And I was like, damn, there goes that dream. But so I feel it. I feel both sides. But that's what I'm selling to receivers. Be like, hey, we're gonna get in a big name guy. We got the bread, because you got paid. He's gonna get you the football no matter what. If you have multiple years of eligibility, did you watch the state game versus Langston Hughes? That guy, he's coming. His name is Luke Nickel. He might be a dime by the time he get to campus. So I'm selling them on that. I mean, I'm just legit. We're gonna get a guy. We're gonna have a high profile freshman, which freshmen start every day in college football, especially at quarterback. And then 2, you have a guy who's beaten Clemson, has played in big games on the road. You have a guy who's finished games, shown improvement every time he stepped on the field, shows actual command of the offense. It'd be simple stuff, bro. When Emory in the huddle, Emory lining up, look at everybody's attention. Bro, he commands the attention, respect, stuff that you really can't put into numbers or, oh man, this, stuff like that. That shows leadership and belief. They believe in him. So, and they play hard for him. So if you got a quarterback like that everybody's up in their game to play hard for, I mean, yeah, bro, I'm selling that to my quarterback, any wide receiver commit. and just being like, hey, bro, our tight end basically played receiver. Like, if you come over here, you're going to catch passes.
Yeah. And it's, we're not, it feels like we're decades removed from the idea of a young quarterback who has been in the system starting for you. It feels like we're decades past that time because of, obviously, some of the teams just reload a quarterback by going and finding a guy. And every other team is a farm system for like the big schools and all, because it's just kind of like that's just what everybody does. But we're like 4 years past that point. So the idea that a young quarterback could come in and play, I don't think it's so quick to like push aside and say no, it can't work, especially if the offense is able to do what it needs to do. I mean, we've had worse. And we certainly have had guys with less potential to be elite players out there. But, like, real quick, I don't want to go too far without flipping over to the defensive side of the ball. CF Kane fan applying pressure to Steve-O. He's wondering what the hell, Steve-O. Gonna get on your horse, get there. But Eddie, are we gonna get that soon, Steve-O? We want some Zechariah.
I'd looked. It's hard to get they don't got the Jacksonville State like that, bro. It's hard. I really don't do the transfers like that. I might do the receiver. He's a lot easier to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we get a quarterback for sure, you got that. Y'all know Pafomania, how it started, baby. I got you. We get a transfer quarterback, don't worry. You'll be seeing his little league tape. I got you. I'll scour the net. But this is what I heard about the safety. I'll be real with you. They said, hey, he is one of the best open field tacklers that hit the portal. And I said, sold. That's it. That's all they had to say. Yeah. They said, hey, he's one of the best open field tacklers. I said, sold. Let me get 2 of them. I'm sorry.
You think that was a problem, Steve-O, for us last year?
Yeah, man. Okay, like the defense we played, high risk, high reward. Man coverages, trying to mix in, get pressure on the quarterback. There was so much times where it was just supposed to be a catch and tackle. We gave up 8 yards. We gave up 10 yards. And how much time did those turn into 20, 30, 40, 60, 80-yard gains because we just missed that first tackle or that second tackle? That's what happens when you play man. Like, you have to be able to tackle in space to live to fight another down.
Yeah.
And we was not living, bro. We was not living. So, yeah, that's what sold me. They say he's a great open field tackler. So,
Bill, tell your thoughts.
Yeah, we all saw the safety play. This year, the angles, the tackling, busted coverages. So, I mean, you had to make changes, and by all accounts, right? I don't think a lot of us have watched Jacksonville State play a lot of football, but by all accounts, he's going to be a significant upgrade. And talk about development, right? You bring in this guy, you pair him with the young Zaquan Patterson, who got plenty of reps and experience this year. And just like that, you can flip at least the starters of your safety room. Maybe you want to bring in, one more for, depth purposes. But you nailed the kind of I guess the biggest question mark with safety. Or maybe after quarterback. Then you gotta hit on cornerback as well. But it's a good start. I think Guidry's system, really requires the safeties to kind of clean up some of the. When mistakes happen from the aggressiveness up front and what you're doing, kind of like what Steve was alluding to. We just didn't have that. So, in my opinion, it really can't get any worse. So he's got to be an upgrade.
It's reasonable. There's real quick, Steve, there's a few. Oh, we got full game replay. Jacksonville State versus Louisville.
Yeah, I could do something like that, but no, I can't do it off one game, bro. I need at least 5 full games. I'm a nerd, bro. I got to get in there. I got to look. I got to see how it is when there's conflicting concepts. Louisville is going to be a good game, though. I'm a low-key watch that for sure. If I get some more, I'll definitely find it. So if you get them, drop them in the chat, and you know what? Hey, I'll do it. I do got stuff to do, but I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'm most excited to see you cut up that New Mexico State versus Jacksonville State game. I know you're a big New Mexico State guy, so
I almost was. They was playing like they was gonna offer my brother, but no, we're not a Lobo. We're not a Lobo.
He was credited for 75 tackles last year, which seems pretty good for safety.
Good. It's pretty good for a safety. doesn't seem really good for a defense. I'll tell you that. I mean, you gotta keep it a buck. Gotta say, but there's times where defenses are made, like Manny Diaz's defense is made for safeties to lead the team in tackles. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. No, it just means, he's doing his job. Like a Jaquan Johnson, he led the team in tackles, our defense was really good. But that's what I'm saying. You have to live the fight on the down. You have to make that tackle at 8-10 yards and come back, reset the chains without giving them momentum, without giving them, 40, 50, 60-yard gains. So that's the difference to open field tackling. I gotta watch a little bit more of him. I wish he was a part of that win versus Florida State, but apparently he was not. He's too young. But hey, freshman All-American. Does he hurt your room? No, he only gets it better. You're adding in a guy that, he's jumping up a level in competition, but the talent is there. The open field tackling is there. Anybody who could shoot and wrap up, bring him.
Yeah.
Bring him.
He's always around the ball. Got a couple fumble recoveries, got a couple picks. So
exactly. And then guess what? It's the spring portal. If he don't pan out, he'll be out of there. Look at Savion Riley. He was out of that. We came there, we're like, he ain't it. Like, ejectocito, cuz. So if you come in here, then you stinking up the joint in spring, they're gonna be like, yo, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Here's a very small piece of that lump sum that you signed for. Sayonara. They're gonna get you out of there. They're not gonna waste time. They're gonna see you in spring and see if you a dude or not. So he keeps saying Ball State can't work for Heisman. He played at Jacksonville State.
I think they're doing. They're still like on Emory Williams. There's like a long Emory Williams battle.
I get it. I mean, every throw in for Emory, like almost there was like 2 or 3 throws outside of like a screen for Williams. I get it, and he missed Horton on a touchdown. I get it, but the throw to Lofton wasn't bad. It was out early, so that's why Lofton kind of faded during his route. If he stayed at the top of the numbers, it would have been right on point. So don't look too much of that. Underthrown on the corner to Ray. That should have been a long touchdown. Just being real. But it is what it is. He did what he was supposed to do. He got the ball out. So if you're talking about Emory and Ball State, just that's all there is to talk about. You can't argue it. You said Savion Riley over number 7. Bro, he couldn't even play for Colorado's defense, dog. I'm sorry. Jaden Harris started off strong. I don't know. I think it's a mental thing with him because he was way too good in the beginning of the year to just do what he did the rest of the year. It had to be like a mental thing because the first 5 games of the year, we were like, yeah, we developed Jaden Harris. This is his 3rd year. He's playing good. I mean, if anything, he was tackling extremely well. That Florida game, bro, he was everywhere outside of play. So, hopefully that's like a mental hurdle or something because, I mean, that's one of the more weirder things of the season. Like, what happened to Jaden Harris's tackling ability? Okay, we never expected him to be the ball hawk, but even last year when he filled in with Cam, he was filling that hole, boom, 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 making tackles. That is probably the biggest what WTF in my opinion on the defense is what happened to Jaden Harris's tackling ability because it's not like we made it up. He showed us he could tackle. So it was just like he was flying. He was a heat-seeking missile. Everybody was like, damn, look at 7. Oh, damn, look at 19. I mean, that was the most baffling thing.
And sudden regression, like you said. I don't know if we've seen anything like that, recently where a player just regresses like that. But just to keep it moving, I don't know if you want to say any names or anything that pops up to you, if there's any individual players that you guys saw that jumped in that you're really all about. Steve, what? Steve?
Yeah, they keep asking me about any DBs I like in the portal. Yeah, they committed elsewhere, dog. They hurt. I like the couple. they hurt that UCF corner. Obviously, I'm a big Anton Jackson guy. I don't think he comes to Miami. But there's
is he back in the portal?
Yeah, he is. There's UCF, I guess, didn't fire their coach. He just stepped down to go be an OC at Florida State. So that's why UCF, you're going to just, there's a mass exodus over there. But there is a name. How did I forget his name? But there's also another name I can't say. I think there's a playoff corner or two that will be very interested in Miami.
I didn't realize that Takario Davis from Arizona is in the portal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a weird
no,
one.
that's Davis. That's his name. Yeah, he was was it All-American or freshman All-American 2022?
Yeah.
Yeah, Davis, and I believe he visiting us.
Let me see if it's on his profile thing.
That's
here.
one, but I would very, very, very much keep in mind at the teams in the playoffs, and I would look to see if there's a DB or two that jumps in. In my opinion, I think for sure back channeling is happening already, and I think so.
See, back channels in college football. My God.
I mean, this is the time where the 7-on-7 group chat start bumping. Hey, my guy needs a spot. Yo, where's this? They're asking me about Miami. I'm like, bro, I don't coach for Miami. I don't work in Miami, dog. You better hit up D-Train, my boy. You better send that DM. You're like, yo, I want to be a Cane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that time of the year. I think a very big name could very well hit the portal at cornerback that all Canes fans would be like, yo, let's do it.
Okay. All right. That sounds good to me. Any thoughts on the earlier references to Ryan Day? I'll say loses. Ryan Day gets fired. Hartline goes to the NFL, and Jeremiah Smith transfers to Miami.
I mean, I don't think Jeremiah leaves Ohio State, to be honest with you. I think that's fool's gold if you think that. I mean, I'm sorry to do it to you guys, Canes family. I'm the most optimistic of all of us. I'll tell you guys. But from everything I heard, JJ's not leaving. Hartline, he didn't get the job at West Virginia. I don't think he gets a head coaching job this cycle. Him interviewing is enough to be like, like, you know, it could be coming, but it's not coming this cycle. It would have already came. Most head coaching jobs are now already filled. So somebody peeping game over there in the chat. I see you. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that I don't see Jeremiah leaving. Like I don't like it's. I'm sorry, y'all boys. Like I could hit the Powerball tomorrow, and I don't think I could convince him to leave Ohio State.
A dude like that could literally go anywhere he wants. Like he's top 5 whenever he decides to head.
You're gonna have NFL teams trying to sign him to an NIL deal. here come the freaking Chiefs. Half of Patrick Mahomes' salary.
Trying to make a trade down there. But anyway, so obviously a lot to look forward to. There's the opportunity in Miami to pull some more talent in as things all kind of shake out and go. But, you know, we're a long way off from the end of this thing. Like we said, maybe 65% of the portal loaded up when, you know, it's like after those playoff losses where a lot of people start to head out because as good as those seasons are, a lot of guys aren't getting playing time that they thought they might get. As soon as the run ends, maybe so does their time at that school. And hey, you never know what could shake out. And hopefully, Steve-O speaks some things into truth here in the near future with some of those big names getting opportunity to make some things happen. But we never know. We'll see how this thing all goes. And that Pop-Tart Bowl looms in the future. Don't worry, we have a full Pop-Tart Bowl preview headed for you next week. Included
I just
with
wish it was
that.
a different sponsor because it sounds terrible. The
Sounds
Pop-Tart Bowl. It sounds terrible, bro. Like it does, but it's basically the Russell Athletic Bowl. You know, it's a good bowl. You're playing
Champ
against
Sports Bowl or whatever.
Yeah, you're playing against a runner-up of a conference. Like it's not a slouch. You feel me? Iowa State is the runner-up of the Big 12. So the Pop-Tart Bowl makes it just oh man, I hate pronouncing it. I can't believe it's called that, bro. Like but I mean, then again, Pop-Tart got that bag. They dropped it. If it's a s'mores Pop-Tart, I might slide to the game. It's over there in Orlando.
These s'mores Pop-Tart guy, Steve-O?
Yeah, I don't like any other Pop-Tarts. I take the cookies and cream on an off day, but I'm a s'mores Pop-Tart.
Oh, you're a specific dessert Pop-Tart guy. You don't like the regular like breakfast ones? Like the regular fruit flavors and whatnot?
Naggy.
Really?
Nah, I'm s'mores, dipping it in some milk, maybe put it in the microwave about 6 to 8 seconds, get a little warm, you know what I'm saying? Not too much. But yeah, I'm very particular when it comes to Pop-Tarts. I'm not a Pop-Tart type of guy, but that s'mores Pop-Tart, for sure. King size me or shared family size me.
Steve, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that I don't feel like you're giving Pop-Tarts a chance. I feel like you maybe haven't had Pop-Tarts since you were like a kid, and now you're just keeping away from them.
Nah, that used to be my emergency breakfast before like I work out Sunday mornings at like 8:30. I used to be able to wake up, eat breakfast, stretch, do all that. Now, man, I'm up rolling out the door with a Pop-Tart and more like a Rice Krispie treat. Or an apple with peanut butter if I'm trying to be healthy.
A lot of adjacent to like breakfast things, like kind of breakfasty, but kind of not. Like Rice Krispie treat. It's good enough. It's cereal, right? But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, more Pop-Tart Bowl talk next week. We'll talk general Pop-Tarts. Now that I have this information, maybe I'll have to make like a slideshow. Maybe we'll compare Pop-Tarts. I don't know. Something fun and engaging to get hyped up for an incredibly important bowl game, which doesn't feel that great when you had a chance at a playoff, and this one's named after a breakfast food. But Orange Bowl would have been better. Pop-Tart Bowl, not so much. Anyway, we'll talk more about that next week. But that'll do it for us. Obviously, it's an exciting week of Portal. I said at the beginning of the show, Steve, this is week 1 of 87 weeks of Portal talk here heading into next season. So we'll be on this Portal discussion train for quite a while. It'll open, close, and be all over it.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's not over for us in the Portal. I think we get ours early, but then we wait for the big guys to hit later. I mean, we've done it all. In 2 years of Portal season under Mario Cristobal's staff, I mean, obviously the late big fish was Cam Ward last year. Do you want to wait that long to get your quarterback? Probably not. But we're going to get some names. I mean, there's a lot of guys in conversations with Miami. I think you got to understand, you get these guys who are committing ASAP out the portal because they probably already knew where they were going when they got in. Right. Then you got the guys who are really taking their visits knowing like, hey, like I can't mess this chance up. Like this guy, I got to be sure about this. So you really got to understand there's 2 types of portal kids. Portal kids who jumped in because they got back channeled and bagged up beforehand, and portal kids because like, hey, I know I'm going to get that bag. Let me make sure I get into the best situation possible. So I think we're really vetting some of these guys. So if you see some of these guys come in and leave without, I know Rivers from FIU, they're like, oh my God, he went to Georgia Tech. They stuffed us in the locker. Everything got to click for us to bring you into this culture. Cam Ward was not the culture. Cam Ward walked into the culture that was already established and took it to another level because of his leadership and his level of play. If Cam wasn't that guy, nobody was going to just listen to him like that. I mean, you just fall on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? But that locker room has already shown signs of this. The guys like Inez Cooper, guys that are homegrown, Isaiah Horde, Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George I know he made some penalties, but I mean he's a cornerstone in the locker room. Like those type of things matter. So don't say, oh my God, this guy visited, we didn't get him, we got stuff in the locker. I think we're really getting guys who fit the culture. So even if they don't have the season that they wanted, they don't become a cancer, and 2, they also get other people around them better.
So we'll see if more guys can fit into that culture here in the coming weeks. Here, real quick, just give me a number. Don't explain it at all. Just a number. Bill, how many guys do you think we end up getting in the portal by the time we get to August? Like how many total portal guys do you think we get this offseason? Just a number. Don't say any other words. Now you're thinking about it. Other words.
11.
11. Okay. Steve-O, give me a number. How many portal guys? Feel free to throw it up.
How much are we at right now?
2.
2? I say I think 11 is a good number. I don't want to take Bill, so I'll say 10. I can see like 8 more guys. The roster is a lot more full than people realize at a lot of positions. I mean, we got young guys at a lot of positions who could step up. You could be looking for a starting linebacker. I wouldn't blame you. But I think Popo Aguero is ready to step up and play more snaps. If it wasn't for an injury, I think he would have took more snaps away from our starters last year. So that's, something. So, yeah, I would say about 8, 9 more sounds right.
Okay. I'm going to go 12 just to hit that Price is Right rule. So anything above that, I win. But anyway, it's all in that same vicinity. So we'll see if we can add some high quality guys here, some blue chippers. But before we get out of here, as always, Bill, final thoughts for the people.
I like the battles going on in the chat. A lot of fire, a lot of
Whoa.
intensity.
Just hit a peak there.
we did, just as I said it. Good timing. But no, the portal brings out the intensity, and I like it.
Yeah, nothing like Portal Mania, honestly.
Gonna have some fans portaling soon, I think, with all this anger out there. But Steve, final thoughts on the beef.
I don't think we're done in the portal. And I love that comment. I can't say which one I love it, but I'm pretty sure you guys know it. What's it called? I don't think we're done in the portal, obviously, because I just made a prediction that we get like 8 more guys. So yeah, keep a lookout for it. I think we plug some holes in. I think maybe we get a kid or two to not hit the portal. I think negotiations are happening every year. You got to recruit your same kids over and over again. I mean, what if Francis Mao? I know I don't want to give him an idea, but what if he says, "Hey, I'm a top 5 draft pick. Pay me." What are you gonna do? You feel me? So I know you got to recruit your kids every year. I mean, it's just name of the game. But yeah, I think the portal is going to be wide. Do I think we get some more noise this week? It could be. I mean, there's some smoke out there that some of these kids are going to be making a decision, in the upcoming weeks. So we'll see. I honestly think we're in a good position with some of the guys that we want, and we'll see how that goes. Because, like I said, they're vetting some of these guys. A lot of homework gets done on these guys, bro. Like, if this is your 3rd school, bro, you know how much digging that takes? Like you're on your 3rd school, 4th school, and you got to dig and be like, hey, is this guy just like a free agent, or is he just like blowing up the joint locker room wise everywhere he goes? Is he like a cancer? Is he blowing more? Is he a Wiz Khalifa fan or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the deal? Why is he on his 4th school? So let the fortune favors the prepared. Do the homework on the guys. We sign top recruiting class every year. We've signed top transfer portal classes every year. I think we'll be okay.
Fair enough. See how it all shakes out. A good point that, we bring in guys every year that we're excited about. So no reason to think why it wouldn't happen again. Just don't know who those guys are right now, and it's making people nervous. But I'm sure we'll know more by next week when we join you again for 3 Live Canes here on a Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We appreciate you guys spending the time. We'll be back here. I don't know if people will still be battling quite as intensely in the chat, but one would imagine it will be that way because we said transfer portal brings out the best in us. Sometimes the worst, but sometimes the best. So see how it all shakes out. We'll see you guys again next week right here on 3 Live Canes. We have a great week.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Irvin's got it. Irvin's free. Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, but he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big games.